Today I'm going to be making some Pastel Goth clay pins. I wanted to do something pastel but with a little bit of mixed in, the dark side of
pastels.
I've been wanting to do Pastel Goth stuff for a while now because of Megamoo. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. Megamoo was sitting on Instagram about a month ago and wondering if edgy dark pastel would work.
Absolutely not.
A problem. Of course I can make it work. But basically that happened a while ago and I completely forgot about it until recently.
Why now?
Well, Delightful does a lot of doll customizations where she basically completely takes the doll and rips it apart
Limb by limb.
and rips out the hair and cracks open the skull. It sounds graphic, but it's really not that gruesome. Plus, she ends up making some really cool characters. Like last week she made a pastel rainbow one.
There it is again.
Pastels.
I keep being assaulted by these pastel rainbow
Pastels.
colors, so I decided, you know what? It's time to ruin pastels for everyone. I've been waiting to do this for way too long, and I'm finally getting around to it. So I started off by doing some sketches, several.
Sketches.
I was trying to doodle some characters that fit my creepy cute aesthetic. This one's supposed to be a cupcake zombie of sorts, and this one's a ghost in a cupcake.
Aw, I love that.
I won't be doing either of those. In fact, a lot of these guys did not make the final cut. Tough competition. Here's the ones I'll be making today.
The unlucky few.
Except, of course, these aren't pastel colors yet, and I did make some changes to the color schemes of these for my final pins. You'll see what I mean. So I started by taking some sculpey clay and molding it into the shape I want. Since I had all these planned out beforehand, I know exactly what atrocities I want to make. For this one, I was attempting to make a demon kitty, but for the first attempt, it was looking a little too creepy.
Too weird.
There was just too much detail. I wasn't having any luck with it.
You're a lost cause.
I've worked with clay before, but I've never really made any pins, so I didn't know what to expect exactly. I tried keeping things a little simpler, but my second attempt was also too creepy looking. I redid this cat twice, so it better be worth the trouble. You might be able to tell what some of these are by the shapes. For the others it might not be so obvious at first, but it'll start making sense when I bust out my
Pastel rainbow paints.
Gorgeous.
A lot of you guys know how deep my love for Posca pens goes. They're my weapon of choice.
Always.
So it might come as a surprise to you that I will not be using Poscas today.
Is he okay?
I've decided to be daring today. Well, it wasn't really my decision, it was Posca's. Posca doesn't really have any light colors, so you see my dilemma. I mean, these are pretty light, they're almost pastel, but they're not really true pastel. I'm forced to use actual paints today, but I'm gonna survive.
It'll be okay.
We'll get through these tough times together. After shaping the clay, I stuck it into the oven at 230 degrees Fahrenheit for 15 minutes. And now that all the boring stuff's out of the way, we can get started on the
Fun part.
I mixed up some paints which ended up being way too dark for pastel, so I had to go through and add some white to lighten things up. For my first pastel creation, I'm going to start off with a black cat. So when doing Pastel Goth, not everything has to be a pastel rainbow color.
Perhaps.
You can still have
Black.
pastel.
Black.
I'm just kidding. What I'm really trying to say is that Pastel Goth can have
Black.
That's where the goth part comes in. And because people often associate black cats with bad luck, I named her Jinx. Like the Pokemon, except with an I. Which basically just means something or someone that brings bad luck. Now she has a milk mustache. I ended up pulling out my Posca pens to finish her up. I know what I said.
I will not be using Poscas today.
It's an advanced technique called
Lying.
Sorry. I'll mostly be using paint today though, so that counts for something. To make her look a little bit more
Evil.
I gave her some bat wings and a little moon on her head.
I mean, why not?
I wanted her to have a mischievous look to fit her chaotic ways, but she kinda just looked angry, so I went back and tried fixing that later. She still looks kinda mad. I'm not having much luck with this. I admit, Jinx isn't as pastel as she could be. I kinda just stuck to pastel accents with this one.
Baby steps.
But I promise you, there is a strong
Possibility.
The next few characters are gonna be a lot more
Pastel.
If you're new here and you don't hate me yet, you should consider selling your soul to me by subscribing to my channel. Wouldn't want to lose me on the internet. I post new videos
Every Friday.
Alright, back to the video. You might not be able to guess what this next one is quite yet. This little guy is a goat inside a cupcake. A goat cake. That sounds...
appetizing.
It does kind of make me hungry every time I look at it. There's no real reason to put him into a cupcake. It just kinda happened. Some of you guys say that my creations aren't scary enough. Come on. But you'd be surprised. I've also gotten people that told me they got too scared of the things I've made or the backstories I've said. It's a battle I simply can't win. Can't please everybody. But I'm going to keep trying, so I guess that's why I put a goat in a cupcake. I feel like it balances things out a bit. And I named him Billy. Billy the goat. Billy Goat. Sure, we'll go with that. I ended up painting Billy a pastel pink color. There's something very dark about goats. I'm pretty sure they're associates of the devil, or something like that. Personally, I love goats.
I've always loved goats.
In fact, I've always wanted some pet goats. Here's a little screaming goat that my mom got me for Christmas one year. I love that. They have such an uncanny ability to scream like a human. So anyway, after painting it, I then went through and added all the little details with Posca pens. I feel like if the whole pin was just pastel colors, then it wouldn't really stand out as much. I tried keeping most of him pastel, but I felt like it needed the other colors too to make him complete. On to the next one. Here's a familiar face. You might actually remember this one. He's an old friend of mine. A character I created a long time ago. In fact, he's the first clay creation I made on my channel. His name's Slurp. I decided to bring him back to life today. I kept his colors mostly the same, just more pastel. I'm using some really cheap acrylic paints. They came in this huge set, and they're kinda goopy, so I tried thinning them down with water as best as I could. Oh, and of course, I had to wait for the paint to dry before I could paint on the next layer.
Obviously.
My favorite brand of paint to use is Full Art Matte Acrylics. This isn't sponsored, it's something I just love to use. It's also one of the main brands that Ace of Clay uses, so you know it's gotta be good. Slurp is mostly blue with orange gills and an orange belly. I did end up changing his eye color to black instead of red. Not sure if it was an eye infection or if he just spent too much time in front of the computer before, but that's been fixed. I love him. He's so cute. No one probably noticed, but Slurp originally used to have a fish. But I wanted to keep things simple, so I got rid of it. I mean, I guess I could have added it if I really wanted to,
But I didn't.
He doesn't look too happy about that. He looks kinda mad. He looks like he's giving me an attitude. Spoiled brat. Anyways, for this next one, a lot of you guys liked this chonky boy from the Create This Book 2 video I did a few weeks ago, so he has decided to make a second appearance. Except, not entirely. You see, I decided to only sculpt his hindquarters. His hiney.
Buttocks is what I mean.
This one was pretty easy to paint. I just painted him all pastel pink. I did add some marks to his buns, which were supposed to be like naturally occurring spots on his body, but I'm just now realizing that it makes him look like he, you know, had a little accident. That's embarrassing, I admit. But honestly, who here can say they've never pooped their pants? No one? Yeah, okay, me neither. In my original doodle, I made it bright pink, which I kind of like a whole lot better. But since it's supposed to be Pastel Goth, I stuck to a very light pink. There's pros and cons to using both paint and Posca pens. Obviously, the Poscas don't have every single color, which is a bummer because I really love Poscas and I wish they had pastel colors. I feel like this could have been better with pastel Posca pens. I mean, it did turn out a lot lighter than I wanted it, but I'm not mad. I still like it. It honestly almost looks like a cow's butt if it weren't for the squiggly tail. He's got a butt only a butcher could love. Alright, moving on. So this one is fine. I mean, it's nothing new. It's just a bat. Bats are adorable little weapons of mass destruction. I originally planned for this bat. Let's call her Buffy. I planned for Buffy to be a green color, but I really wasn't feeling it.
At all.
The green was looking kinda ugly, so I decided to opt for a pastel purple. She has some tiny little fangs biting into a donut that's half the size of her. She looks pretty happy. Clearly, she's very content to be stuffing her face. I tried to give each one a different expression to show their different personalities. I made the donut a pastel pink color. I feel like it looks like I gave the donut eyes. The donut is not alive. Those are actually supposed to be bite marks from her fangs, in case you were confused. After I was done painting, I used some E6000 glue to stick pin backs on them, but I didn't have enough pin backs for every single one. I still wanted to give the others a purpose in life, so I just ended up gluing magnets to the rest. And here they are, in all their Pastel Goth glory.
Hey, I just got off the phone with the Dark Lord of Pumpkin Spice. If you don't like and comment on this video, we're gonna have to cancel Halloween this year.